And today I'm going to be showing you how to work a single crochet stitch. I'm using Sugarbush Yarns Chill, which is a super bulky weight 6 yarn. You can check the label on your yarn ball to see the weight. And here you can see the 6, and it's super bulky. I'm going to be using a 9mm crochet hook, and this is a Susan Bates Crystalite hook. I've just put my yarn into a bowl just to hold it, and I've pulled the yarn from the center of the ball, and that just makes it a little bit easier. So we're going to begin by making a slip knot. So take your yarn and wrap it around 2 fingers. Take your tail and push a loop up through the loop on your fingers, just like that. Now put that on your hook. Okay, so now we're going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, to make our single crochet, we're going to work in the second chain from the hook. So we don't count the loop on our hook, we're going to count here. See the chains? 1, 2, 3. So the second chain, 1, 2, this is the second. You want to push your hook down through the chain. So go through, we'll yarn over and pull through a loop. So see, we have 2 now on our hook. You'll yarn over and pull through 2. We'll go into the next chain. You can see when you turn it this way, your V's. So you're pushing down through the V. Yarning over, pulling through, yarn over, pull through 2. Go through, grabbing your yarn, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Push down through the chain, grabbing your yarn, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'm just going to continue this all the way down my chain, and then I'll show you how to count back your stitches. Okay, so I've worked all the way down my chain. I'm just going to move my hook out of the way so I can show you now. You want to look back at your work and see your V's. This is your stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's 10. So we now have 10 stitches. Put that back on, and then you turn your work. And chain 1. We chain 1 because that is the height of a single crochet. A chain 2 would be a half double, and a chain 3 a double crochet. So we chain 1. Now if the pattern states that the chain 1 is a stitch, included as a stitch, you would skip, here's our very first stitch, you would skip over that and work into the next, because as we counted back we have 10 of these little V stitches. So if this is included as a stitch, we're not going to work into this, or we would end up with 11. For this tutorial, I am not going to include my chain 1 as a stitch, so I am going to work right in here. And if you're looking at a pattern, it will tell you generally in the notes or at the very beginning in brackets, it will say chain is included as stitch here and throughout, or chain is not included as a stitch here and throughout. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work down through the stitch. So you want both of those loops going over the hook, going through, grabbing your yarn, pulling it up, yarn over, pulling through 2. And if you're ever unsure, you just can turn to see those V stitches. You want to make sure you're going through the hole, both stitches are on top of the hook, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Push through, yarn over, and go through. So I'm going to continue working along, and I'll meet you up at the end. Okay, so I've completed my row, and again you can count. There's my V's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's the 10th. And then turn your work. And chain 1. And then you just repeat working into that first stitch because our chain 1 isn't included. And for the swatch that I'm going to make, I'm going to complete 10 rows. So I'll work my 10 rows off camera and then I'll show you how that looks. Okay, so I've completed my 10 rows, and I just wanted to mention, if you're reading a pattern, making up a swatch like this is really important before you begin. So at the beginning of the pattern, it will tell you how many stitches and rows are in generally 4 inches and sometimes 2 inches, depending on the pattern and how tiny the stitches are you're working with. So what you would do is take your ruler and measure how many stitches you have in 4 inches, how many rows you have in 4 inches. So it's always good to start off because everyone's gauge can sometimes vary slightly, and you just need to adjust your hook size to make sure that the gauge is exactly like the pattern so it comes out to the right measurements. And just examining this a little further, I want to show you how you can kind of see this one row pops up, one goes down, pops up, goes down, and you sort of see the ridges here. So I like to count by 2s as I sort of look at my work and see. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I can see there that I have 10 rows completed. So now I'm going to demonstrate how to do a foundation single crochet. The abbreviation for that is FSC. Single crochet is SC. So some patterns will ask you to work a foundation single crochet before beginning. And I'm just going to show you here sort of the difference of how that would look. So this starts off with a foundation and this starts off with a chain, and you can see how this looks much nicer. You're going to have more stretch. It's just a nicer finish to your piece. And it's actually quite easy to do. So let's begin with our slip knot. And put that on the hook. And now we'll chain 2. So now we're going to work back in the second chain from the hook. If you turn your work, you can see there's a loop back here. So we're going to go through this loop, and also we want to go under that loop as well. So now we're going to grab our yarn, pulling up a loop. So we now have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 1. Put your finger on that first loop that you've pulled through. That is our foundation chain. Now we'll yarn over and pull through 2 to finish the single crochet. I like to put my finger here because it just reminds me where I need to go back down through. So push through the other loop as well, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1. Okay, so that's the foundation. Yarn over, pull through 2 to make our single crochet. Turn. I mean, it is easy to see once you get going, but just placing your finger there really does help to show you where you need to go. So we have 2, we yarn over going through 1 loop. That's the foundation chain. Yarn over, pull through 2 to make our single crochet. Turn, and you can see we've got those really nice stitches that are going to be the edge of our piece. Pull up, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And I've worked up 10. I'm going to turn, chaining 1, and then we can just begin working our single crochet stitches across. So all that does is eliminate having to chain and then work a row of single crochet. We've done it all together. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on learning how to single crochet